Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about circular polarizing filters and why they are quite useful. This is again a video for beginners, so I'm not telling anything new to anyone that has already some experience in photography. But I think it's important for a beginner to understand what these things can be used for and why they are so important for photography. So I'm usually buying my filters from Hoya. I tried other brands, but they didn't make me too happy, or they were just too expensive. And circular polarizing filters are screw-on filters that fit on your lens. And what they do is they cancel out a specific type of light that is usually associated with glare. So if you put this filter onto your lens, you can rotate it, and by rotating it you cancel out light from it or glare from a certain coming in from a certain direction. It always depends on how strong you want it to be, and then you can diminish the effect. And if you take a look at the filter right now, you can see a slight change on the bright gray here. And that is what a polarizing filter does, among other things. So it cancels out the glare that you would get from this plasticky surface here. Obviously, that works extremely well on water, on metals, and pretty much everything that has a slightly more reflective surface that can produce glare and these weird, extremely white spots in your photos. So as they are filters that have to be screwed on your lens, the downside to these is that you will have to have a specific size for the lenses that you have. So and that has nothing to do with the lens bottom, but it's actually the lens front. Like on my 10 to 18 EFS lens here, I have already the circular polarizing for CPL for short, CPL filter on. And you can see it's easy to screw on and off. They literally fit on any lens, not just Canon. You don't have to buy for a specific brand of lens a certain filter. They basically fit on any other lens system that you're using. The only important thing that you need to check is your lens radius. This one is a 67 millimeter. So there's a specific type of circular filter for that, this one. And then we have, for instance, the smallest one that I have goes into my prime lens that I talked about last time. This is a 49 millimeter radius from here to here, diameter, sorry, from here to here. And so it's the lens filter for that has to be the same size so that you can screw it on and it fits. Now there are adapter systems that I know of, but I have never used one. I go with the lenses as with the filters as they're needed, and obviously, like a lot of lenses, like the EFS 10 to 18, there are a couple of Canon lenses, for instance, that have 67 millimeter or 72 millimeter or 49 is, I think, rare, more for the prime lenses. But in general, if you buy screw-on filters, not just the CPL, but for instance ND filters, then you will have to take care that you actually buy the filters so that they fit onto your lens. That is the only downside. There are slide-in filters that you can slide in from top. They're a bit more clunky and a little bit more difficult to carry around. But if you're working on a professional level, then I think that makes absolute sense. With these filters, I find them very easy to use. This one got a little bit dirty. Hold on. These filters are very easy to use. They are not that expensive. Of course, the bigger the filter is, the wider the diameter the diameter is, the more expensive these things usually are. There are differences in quality, especially with ND filters. That is something that I learned. If you invest in filters and save money and buy a cheaper brand, then you usually get a little bit less quality. The Hoya filters for me, and I'm not sponsored by Hoya, just to get that out of the way. The Hoya filters, to me, in my experience, are the best value for money ratio that you can get, in my opinion. I haven't tried that many others yet, but in general, I'm quite happy with how they perform. That includes the ND filters that I've got from them. I bought an ND filter, a variable ND filter, like 2 years ago, for very little money, and I regretted it immediately. The filter quality, just the image quality, and how the filter works was absolutely atrocious. So yeah, definitely invest rather a little bit more money than buying the cheapest one you can find. I mean, that's pretty much true for everything out there. And then you can really improve your photography quite a bit. And ND filters are used for something completely different. I'll talk about that in another video. But the circular filters, circular polarizing filters, the CPL filters, are really useful if you want to cancel out glare, and for something that I actually did not expect. And I from talking to photographers, a lot of photographers are also not aware of that. But what you see on a computer screen is actually in the same light range or wave range or whatever you want to call that as glare. And so if you take photos where you have bright screens in the background, you can use a CPL filter actually to darken just the screens, because it cancels out the light that you get from a computer screen or a plasma screen or whatever. So that helps quite a lot. One downside, for any low light photography, for instance, is that as you can see, the filters are quite dark, and then that means you lose brightness in general. So you have to work with slightly slower shutter speeds. It depends a little bit on the filter that you buy, and where the CPL filter is set up. So during bright daylight, I usually use it to its fullest, because I can with that cancel out the haze in the sky and make the skies a lot bluer, because then you don't get the glare from the water droplets and the mist in the air. But in a darker environment, that automatically makes your photography a little bit tougher, because you have to work with slower shutter speeds automatically, like sometimes 1 to 2 stops, but yeah, somewhere around that range. Nonetheless, I use them pretty much every single time I am doing street photography, where I have a lot of contrast and a lot of metals and a lot of glass. When I shoot some ocean scenes, and as I said, when I'm working on with my students and I want to take pictures of what they're doing right now, I shoot video of what they're doing right now, or even if I want to illustrate my own game projects and want to show some work in progress work, and take a screenshot of the computer in my work environment. That really helps. As you can see in the example images that I showed you, the difference can be quite significant. Okay, I hope you learned something from this. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share, that helps me a lot, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys, and enjoy your day.